Unable to accept rejection, the applicant accused the woman of targeting her, threatened to have her grandfather destroy her career, then stormed out angrily. Afterward, a senior partner questioned why she had rejected the girl, explaining that her grandfather was an influential professor closely connected to the law firm. He demanded a reversal, but she revealed the application had already been returned, ending the matter and leaving no one able to change her decision. Looking at the girl's resume, she quietly told herself the bigger this became, the better, because she had waited far too long for this day. Soon, the applicant's grandmother entered the office with practiced authority, expecting a private conversation to settle everything. She casually ordered the woman to arrange her granddaughter's internship, then offered a bribe, and demanded the placement be handled as quickly as possible. But she stared at the old woman's smooth hands, remembering how she had stolen her grandmother's scholarly identity. Her grandmother, whose identity was stolen, sewed souls by kerosene lamplight for decades, leaving enlarged knuckles and fingers bent until death. She refused again. The elderly woman listed her granddaughter's honors once more, treating those achievements as proof that rejecting her was ridiculous. She explained that another candidate had been selected, but the elderly woman assumed money was the issue, and told her to name a price. The woman held back her anger and replied that professional principles were not merchandise, especially for someone celebrated as an artist. Provoked by that answer, the visitor dropped her polite mask and accused the woman of sleeping her way into power. Next, she ordered the woman to hire her granddaughter immediately, boasting that decades of family connections were enough to make everyone obey. But the woman knew the stolen identity had never changed the old woman's cruel, petty nature. She remained just as shameless and selfish. Without hesitation, she told the elderly woman the interview result would not change, then calmly ordered her to leave the law firm. As she left, the furious elderly woman threatened the interviewer and warned that revenge was coming. Then the senior partner again ordered her to hire the girl, warning that the professor could ruin the firm's future and demanding an immediate solution. She calmly agreed and promised that she would personally contact the professor and explain the entire matter herself. Reading the girl's family records, she remembered the grandfather who abandoned his family and the grandmother who stole her grandmother's life. Her debt collection plan began. Next, she contacted the professor about the rejected applicant and requested a face-to-face meeting, finally beginning the reckoning she had awaited for years. For 30 years, she remembered the man who stole her grandmother's life and abandoned his wife and daughter. Now she finally stood before him. The professor praised her for escaping the mountains and building a successful career, then emphasized that he had come from the same difficult background. Using their similar backgrounds, he urged her to hire his granddaughter and promised career support, unaware the woman was also his granddaughter and had come for revenge. However, even though everyone said she resembled her grandmother, he still failed to recognize her. So she directly asked how many people he had crushed on his difficult climb to such a powerful position. Dropping his polite mask, he bluntly asked how much money she wanted before allowing his granddaughter into the law firm. Looking at him, she remembered her grandmother calling his name before death. After everything, all she wanted was justice. Then she revealed the hiring list had already been published, and his granddaughter was nowhere among those selected. The professor immediately dropped his polite mask, warning that rejecting his granddaughter meant she was personally destroying her own future. After returning home, she told her mother she had rejected her grandfather's other granddaughter and confronted him, leaving her mother afraid of retaliation. Soon the law firm publicly fired her for obstructing fair recruitment without investigating, presenting evidence, or giving her any chance to explain herself. Online commenters immediately accused her of sleeping her way into partnership and destroying countless young applicants' futures through personal bias. The professor's granddaughter messaged to mock her for losing everything, boasting she would enter the legal world while the woman would never find work again. Although her mother begged her to stop, the woman refused, reminding her that this family debt had remained unpaid for 50 years. Then her mother apologized for dragging her into their pain, fearing her years of study and struggle to escape the mountains would all be wasted. But the woman explained that she had fought every step to win justice for her mother and grandmother, and her future would not be destroyed easily. She told her mother she had personally investigated every interview candidate's background and papers, discovering the professor's granddaughter had not written her celebrated legal articles. As an honorary law lecturer, the woman recognized the papers credited to the professor's granddaughter as work by a struggling student she had once mentored. Using her family's influence, the applicant stole another student's work, just as her grandmother had once stolen the woman's grandmother's entire life. Remembering her grandmother's lifelong suffering, the woman promised her mother that once enough evidence was gathered, the powerful family would finally answer for everything. Just then, the university summoned her back to teach a new elective course, giving her the perfect opportunity to gather evidence. Then she messaged the struggling student she once mentored, inviting her to meet the following day. At their meeting, Her former student looked exhausted and admitted that writing papers lately had left her completely overwhelmed. She directly asked whether the well-connected girl had forced her to write academic papers on her behalf. The student explained that she had stayed silent because the girl's grandfather was a law professor whose reputation made resistance feel both dangerous and hopeless. Understanding her fear, the woman reassured the student that she would not ignore the abuse or allow the powerful family to silence her. However, bringing them down required help, so the woman asked the student to secretly collect evidence that the powerful girl had plagiarized her papers. After a brief hesitation, the student agreed, admitting she could endure no more, and deciding to expose the powerful girl's relentless abuse. She revealed the student had long used her grandfather's influence to force her to write countless papers, then publish them all under her own name. Next, she explained that she had already preserved the evidence and knew several other vulnerable students had suffered the same abuse. Meanwhile, the domineering student arrived at school, reading attacks against the woman, then ordered the struggling student to prepare an iced coffee within 10 minutes. When the student failed to reply immediately, she accused her of slacking and threatened to make her pay if she caught her avoiding work. Despite the student's warning that challenging a powerful family would be difficult, the woman insisted they did not control everything, and fighting back would reveal the outcome. She told the student every file was safely backed up and promised to find each victim on her list the next day, building evidence no one could erase. After the woman left, the domineering student found the struggling student, ready to make trouble. The domineering student stopped the financially struggling student, scolding her for not replying promptly, and mocking her for coming from a remote mountain village. She then ordered the financially struggling student to bring her an iced coffee within 5 minutes. At that moment, the woman defended the struggling student, saying everyone was equal, and the bully had no right to order others around. When the bully asked whether they knew each other, the woman hid their alliance, claimed she needed directions, then mocked her for bullying others, believing unemployment had completely broken the woman. The bully smugly asked whether she regretted challenging a family powerful enough to destroy everything she had. When the bully bragged that even a top law firm partner was nothing before her grandfather, the woman silently vowed to dismantle them one by one. When the bully bragged that even a top law firm partner was nothing before her grandfather, the woman silently vowed to dismantle them one by one. Next, the bully demanded that the woman clean her shoe with her face before she would ask her grandfather to spare her and help her find work. Without hesitation, the woman brought her high heel down hard on the bully's shoe. She warned the bully that if she dared stick out her foot, she would crush it, and any net they cast around her would be torn apart. Before leaving, she warned the bully and her grandfather that climbing higher meant falling harder, perhaps ending 100 times worse than hers. The financially struggling student admired the woman's fearless presence, but the humiliated bully immediately threatened to punish her if she revealed what happened today. She boasted that the woman had been fired simply for rejecting her internship, presenting that destruction as proof of what happened to disobedient people. Then she ordered the student to keep writing legal papers for her, promising that after graduation, her grandfather would secure her a low-level lawyer position through an award. The next day, the woman followed the list of fellow victims provided by the financially struggling student, which recorded their ages and academic majors. Following the list, the woman met several other victims who agreed to help and handed over evidence they had collected, hoping it would finally expose the truth. Each interview revealed new clues and more victims, until the woman discovered nearly 20 people had suffered beneath the same powerful family. As the woman entered the classroom, the domineering student first apologized for arriving late, but after recognizing her, immediately accused the woman of stalking her. The woman calmly explained that she was only there to teach a class and had never been following her. She was stunned that the prestigious course she had fought to enter was taught by someone recently fired and surrounded by damaging rumors. Furious, the female bully threw her book onto the floor and stormed out of the classroom. After returning home, the female bully complained to her grandparents, claiming the woman had dared to humiliate her publicly before the entire class. She then exaggerated everything to her grandfather, claiming the woman had crushed her shoe days earlier, and deliberately waited outside class to humiliate her again. She told her grandmother that the woman was now an honorary lecturer at their university. Her grandmother dismissed the woman's ability, insisting that some powerful man must have secretly arranged the position for her. However, after learning his granddaughter had never known or offended the woman, the grandfather suspected that some hidden reason lay behind her repeated targeting. He remembered the woman's demand for justice and felt she looked strangely familiar, but he still could not identify whose face she resembled. The granddaughter quickly claimed the woman had probably tried flattering him before being rejected, and he foolishly accepted that convenient explanation. She then accused the woman of academic misconduct and manipulation, demanding that her grandfather remove such a dangerous enemy from the university. Determined to protect his granddaughter, the professor promised to call the school and have the woman dismissed from her teaching position. Yet the girl still felt unsatisfied, complaining that nobody had ever humiliated her before. while her grandmother noticed the woman had deeply unsettled the professor. To intensify their revenge, the grandmother proposed a live stream where the girl would portray herself as an innocent victim brutally persecuted by the woman. Though unsure what to say, the girl accepted after her grandmother offered to invent the story, confident their live stream would destroy the woman's reputation. Late at night, the woman was still organizing the evidence she had collected of paper plagiarism by the powerful law professor and his granddaughter. Although her mother urged her to rest, she said they had waited many years for this opportunity, and she could no longer stop. She confessed that whenever she closed her eyes, she saw her grandmother dying, while repeatedly calling the grandfather who had abandoned her. She hated their moral preaching because they had destroyed her grandmother's life, yet continued enjoying wealth and honor without the slightest remorse. Determined to expose the ugliness beneath their respectable appearance, she insisted no hardship mattered if it could finally bring her grandmother justice. The next day, the female bully and her grandfather retaliated, prompting the university to cancel the woman's final class that month and remove her from all future teaching schedules. Next, she found the female bully live streaming, claiming the dismissed lawyer had become an honorary lecturer, and repeatedly targeted and threatened her at school. Meanwhile, viewers accused the woman of destroying employment fairness and demanded that the university investigate her thoroughly. Afterward, the female bully boasted that yesterday's live stream had surpassed 10,000 viewers. The entire internet despised the woman, and the university had fired her. The woman reminded the law student that spreading lies, damaging reputations, and deliberately directing online harassment were all criminal acts. But the bully admitted she did not care because she was not suffering, called law mere decoration for privilege, and mocked lower-class people like the woman for believing in fairness. She bragged that anyone she disliked would disappear, then threatened the woman that she would keep taking revenge until she had destroyed her completely. But the woman calmly promised she would never let the bully escape justice, then turned around and walked away. After returning home, the female bully complained to her grandmother that the woman had humiliated her again. After comforting her granddaughter, the grandmother proposed exploiting the current public outrage through a press conference to completely destroy the woman's reputation. Despite public opinion favoring them, the grandfather opposed the plan because he sensed something unusual and believed the woman was not simple. Her grandmother immediately accused the grandfather of having an affair with the woman. The grandfather immediately denied it and insisted that the woman must never be underestimated. The grandmother mocked the woman for sleeping her way to the top without real talent, while her granddaughter claimed she came from a remote mountain village with no background. Under his granddaughter's emotional pressure, the grandfather finally decided he had overthought everything and agreed to use his influence to personally arrange the press conference. At the press conference, the grandfather welcomed the media and claimed he had gathered everyone to address the suffering endured by his granddaughter. Meanwhile, the woman and her mother watched the press conference live stream, where the grandfather accused her of retaliating after being fired and organizing online attacks that severely traumatized his granddaughter. Her grandmother joined the performance, claiming their only granddaughter had been tortured and left them both heartbroken. Knowing the accusations were lies, her mother worried about their impact, but the woman told her not to panic and thanked them for creating a stage to expose her evidence. She immediately summoned the other victims to the conference, determined to discover whether public opinion would destroy her or tear the powerful family apart. Meanwhile, the bully claimed she admired the law firm and could not understand her rejection, then publicly displayed her supposedly outstanding Arfe Sum Fe. After reviewing the Arfe Sum Fe, reporters praised her credentials, questioned why someone so outstanding had been rejected, and quickly concluded there must be something suspicious behind the decision. The bully portrayed herself as a defender of ordinary students and accused the woman of abusing authority, unaware the woman and victims were approaching. She claimed studying law was incredibly difficult and described the pressure of having a famous grandfather, insisting she had always worked tirelessly. Next, she claimed she had always admired the woman's reputation in the legal world, so she applied to the law firm where the woman worked, only to be cruelly targeted. Reporters immediately accused the woman of rejecting the student out of jealousy over her wealthy and powerful family background. The female bully then claimed that even her family connections could not protect her, leaving ordinary students with nowhere to seek justice. Next, she forced out tears for those imaginary victims, insisting she would stand with them and help them seek justice. During the conference, the bully's grandfather claimed he came from the mountains and knew hardship, then accused the lawyer of trampling fairness, and claimed to defend students, not merely his granddaughter. Viewers in the live stream praised the grandfather for devoting his entire life to legal education, and called him a true educator. Meanwhile, the female bully's grandmother preached about integrity and justice, claiming their gentle granddaughter had suffered endless humiliation, despite her kind nature. Next, the female bully accused the woman of favoring male applicants during recruitment, and humiliating qualified female candidates by rejecting them for fabricated reasons. Then she immediately claimed to represent every female job seeker, and publicly demanded that the woman give them the fairness they deserved. Just then, The woman entered the conference and asked whether the bully, while demanding fairness for women, had considered the female students whose papers she stole. The female bully immediately accused the woman of fabricating accusations and publicly slandering her without evidence. The woman directly challenged her to explain where the arguments, legal provisions, books, and cases in her 6 published papers had come from. Unable to answer, the female bully claimed the question was merely a trap, forcing her to prove herself. The lawyer exposed all 6 papers as stolen, revealing she bought one in freshman year, another in sophomore year, and 4 more during her final 2 years. All 6 papers came from financially struggling students the woman had mentored, but the bully stole them and published everything under her own name. The female bully denied everything, questioned why nobody had accused her for years, and insisted the woman's claims were malicious slander. The woman explained that the victims stayed silent because the bully's grandfather was a powerful law professor capable of destroying their academic futures. The female bully immediately demanded that the woman produce evidence to support all her accusations. The woman immediately displayed the original files of all 6 papers and invited everyone at the scene and watching online to examine them carefully. The documents preserved every revision record and identified the true authors, yet not a single one belonged to the female bully. Only then did livestream viewers realize the bully's supposed top ranking had been built entirely on plagiarizing other students' papers. Still refusing to surrender, the female bully accused the woman of fabricating every piece of evidence she had presented. But the woman replied that evidence could be forged, while real victims and the pain they endured could never be fabricated. Just then, several students whose papers the female bully had plagiarized after years of bullying arrived at the press conference. The female students revealed that the bully had stolen their research since freshman year, while the university repeatedly pressured them to remain silent. Another student revealed that the bully's grandfather personally suppressed their complaint to the university, leaving her roommate nearly unable to graduate and almost forced out. Another student said the bully stole her 3-month paper, while the grandfather suppressed her appeal to the university. The student continued, revealing that the female bully forced her to write papers, treated her like a slave, and threatened her graduation certificate whenever she resisted. Next, the financially struggling student displayed the complete message history, showing how the female bully pressured and threatened her into writing papers. The female bully finally panicked, immediately turned to her grandfather, and begged him to find a way to save her. Her grandfather stormed forward, snatched the phone away, smashed it, and ordered every reporter to shut down all live streams immediately. But viewers had already turned against the family, condemning their fraud and demanding a thorough investigation into the entire family. As guards forced reporters to end their live streams, the woman warned it was too late because everything had been recorded and education authorities would soon investigate. Showing no remorse, the female bully threatened every student who testified, accusing them of daring to unite against her powerful family. The female bully demanded to know what the woman had offered them, asking whether it was more tempting than her promise to let them graduate normally. The woman reminded her these students deserved normal graduation, needed no charity, and condemned her for stealing their dignity and work. But her grandmother claimed her granddaughter's use of their papers was an honor for them, reducing those mountain students to tools decorating her arfe some fe. The woman mocked their arrogance and reminded the grandmother that both she and the professor had also climbed out of poor mountain villages. Afterward, the female bully threatened every witness, warning they would never graduate normally or find work anywhere in the legal profession. The woman accused the family of having no humanity, but the bully claimed only the weak needed it, while privileged people could treat it as a toy. The woman reassured the frightened students that nobody could force them again, and promised that neither their evidence nor the truth would ever be buried. The bully's grandmother mocked the woman as a fool leading a group of young students, then asked how they could possibly challenge her power. Fearless, the woman told them they could silence everyone present, but they could never silence the truth that had already gone out live. Seeing the woman stand completely fearless, the bully's grandmother finally recognized that familiar face and realized she resembled someone believed gone forever. The female bully's grandfather told the woman that success in law required more than professional ability, because connections and background mattered equally. He then ordered an assistant to bring out cash, hoping to buy the woman off and force her to abandon the investigation. But the woman calmly rejected the bribe, reminding the professor she had once been a partner at a leading law firm and needed no money. He then offered to restore her position, promote her to senior partner, and provide major cases guaranteed to dominate newspaper headlines. She refused again, explaining that every case she handled was important. Her ability was already her reputation, and she needed no powerful platform. After failing to bribe the woman, the professor threatened the students who testified and questioned whether she cared about their futures. The professor promised that if the woman stopped investigating his granddaughter, he would directly recommend every student for graduate or even doctoral programs. The woman saw through the professor's scheme. If any student accepted his benefits, the plagiarism would become a transaction, making victims accomplices and giving his family lifelong control. Seeing through the trap, the woman firmly rejected every condition the professor had offered her. Furious that she wanted neither money, power, status, nor his promised future for the students, the professor demanded to know what she actually wanted. Next, the professor believed the woman had targeted his granddaughter since the interview, merely to prove she could bring down a legal authority like him and take his position. The woman remembered how the professor had abandoned her grandmother, whose final wish before dying was for her granddaughter to find her long-lost grandfather. She also remembered the female bully treating law as decoration and openly mocking ordinary people for believing in fairness and justice. Facing the professor's question, the woman declared she wanted fairness, justice, and academic freedom, while ending academic monopoly and preventing corrupt people from controlling the legal world. The professor dismissed her ideals as childish, praised her limited cleverness, and ordered everyone in the room to stop filming immediately. The female bully smugly claimed that despite all the witnesses and evidence, no truth could ever escape, as long as her grandfather remained in control. The woman turned toward the reporters and asked whether they would ignore the family's true nature after witnessing everything with their own eyes. She reminded the reporters that their pens should record truth and justice, not become a shield for the powerful to conceal corruption. When they remained silent, she condemned them for abandoning professional ethics, and said they had reduced themselves to servants of the powerful. The professor boasted that this was what power could accomplish, revealing every media outlet present was closely tied to him, and spoke only as he commanded. Next, the professor ordered his men to confiscate every memory card and forcibly remove the woman and students, preventing any evidence from leaving the scene. The woman revealed that before arriving, she had shared her complete itinerary with her family and several important clients. Next, she identified several major business leaders and a deputy mayor, warning they would come immediately if she or her students were harmed or failed to leave safely on time. She reminded the professor that he had enjoyed comfort for too long, and had completely forgotten the difficult path he once walked. Before leaving, the woman promised to remind him of his past and make him regret everything, then led the students away from the press conference. Outside, one frightened student became overwhelmed, and the woman apologized for failing to anticipate how dangerous the confrontation would become. But the students praised her courage, calling her a model for law students who proved that lawyers must defend justice, not merely win cases. They still worried that controlling the media would bury the footage, making their entire confrontation appear to have achieved nothing. The woman explained that the professor still lived in the past, believing traditional media controlled every narrative, while social media had changed everything. Because the conference had been live-streamed, viewers had already saved screenshots and recordings, spreading the scandal while demanding the missing conclusion. Watching anger surge across every platform, the students knew the family's reputation was collapsing, while the woman saw the perfect moment to intensify public pressure. Soon afterward, the female bully told her grandfather that the lawyer had published all the paper records and evidence online, igniting every major platform. The female bully panicked over the plagiarism scandal while her grandfather assured her he had already ordered his men to suppress every trending topic about it. But furious viewers had already found her account, attacking her relentlessly and even claiming her parents died early because of her cruelty. Terrified that her future would be completely ruined, the female bully desperately begged her grandfather to save her. Her grandfather reassured her that he had arranged to ban every unfavorable account and comment, and would also try to redirect public opinion in their favor. After his granddaughter left, the professor admitted that controlling public opinion and covering everything up was no longer so easy in the internet age. While they considered reversing public opinion, the bully's grandmother suddenly understood why the woman looked familiar. She closely resembled someone they once knew well. The professor finally realized the woman resembled the real wife he had abandoned in the mountains decades earlier, awakening memories they believed had disappeared. He immediately checked the woman's Arfe Sum Fe, and found her hometown was the mountain village, where he had abandoned his wife, convincing them she was somehow related to that woman. They knew that mountain village hid dangerous secrets, and both concluded the woman knew the truth of the past, and had returned for revenge. Remembering the woman's promise to make him regret everything, the professor suspected she held evidence, and both feared exposure of the past would completely destroy them. Although they believed every trace had been erased, the professor decided the only solution was to silence the woman forever. Soon afterward, a former colleague urgently visited the woman, pretending he merely wanted to check whether she needed any help. She said she needed no help, but he immediately claimed the firm's board would overlook her negative reputation, give her another chance, and rehire her. The woman returned the employment offer, and exposed the truth, revealing the firm had lost several major cases since firing her without cause 1 month earlier. She revealed that after she was fired, another lawyer took over the multinational merger she had prepared, but the client withdrew within 1 week, causing the case to collapse completely. The firm had earned nothing, damaged its reputation, and released a terrible financial report, leaving her former colleague completely unable to refute her. He argued the setback was temporary, but the woman countered that her clients trusted her personally, so the firm lost nearly 20% of its cases after she left. In a flashback, the board ordered her former colleague to rehire her immediately, or lose his senior partner position, forcing him to admit everything. However, the woman rejected the offer immediately, refusing to return to the firm that had discarded her for pleasing powerful people. Instead of apologizing, he blamed her for refusing to hire the professor granddaughter, and claimed her stubbornness had caused her dismissal. The woman questioned why he had become someone who bullied the weak and worshipped the powerful, forgetting he had earned his position through one case after another. She warned that continuing down this path would destroy the law firm decades, old reputation, and erase the last of his conscience. He argued she could not understand the pressure of his position, insisting he also had reasons and helpless compromises. But the woman replied that before becoming a lawyer, she first had to remain human because law without conscience meant nothing. Before leaving, she told him to face the scales of justice and ask whether his original reason for studying law still remained. Moments later, she saw the professor and his granddaughter release another public statement, accusing her of spreading rumors and denying every plagiarism allegation. The female bully insisted she was the first author of 6 nationally published legal papers and had never committed plagiarism. The professor claimed he had remained silent only to preserve the last shred of dignity for the female students and the lawyer. Next, they portrayed the leading impoverished student as someone he had supported for years, claiming she only gathered reference materials and received financial assistance every month. The female bully displayed 30,000 yuan monthly transfer records, accused the impoverished student of claiming credit for her research papers, and said the woman manipulated her into testifying. Watching the family shamelessly strike back, the woman wondered why the impoverished student had accepted the money without telling her and prepared to call for an explanation. The impoverished student apologized to the woman over the phone and insisted she knew nothing about the financial assistance that family mentioned, although the receiving account was registered in her name. Next, she remembered that when she first entered college, the professor had taken her identification card without ever explaining what he intended to do with it. The woman realized he had secretly used that identification to open a bank account, proving his scheme had been prepared years earlier. Believing her future was destroyed, the student broke down, said she could no longer endure everything, and suddenly ended the call with a final goodbye. Realizing the student might be in danger, the woman immediately rushed out to find her. Later, the student finally awakened in the hospital and found the woman had remained beside her the entire time. The woman asked with concern why she was punishing herself and giving up her life to bear the guilt of the villains who had persecuted her. She reminded the student that the professor had abused his power and his granddaughter had stolen her research. Those corrupt persecutors deserved disgrace and punishment, never her. The woman then encouraged the student not to punish her innocent self, but to punish the hypocritical villains who had claimed her achievements as their own. The student finally admitted she wanted them punished and wanted her achievements returned, but believed her own strength was far too small. But the woman said there was still a way. Use the weapon she knew best, fight through lawful means, reclaim everything, and prove law was not the powerful shield. She promised to stand beside her, using rules, evidence, and justice to make every wrongdoer pay the price they truly deserved. Encouraged by the woman, the student finally regained her courage, decided to stop running away, and vowed to make everyone who had hurt her pay. Next, she revealed other classes had suffered too, and the female bully was not alone. The professor had exploited students and stolen their academic work for years. According to her, the professor had built his success on the ruined lives of students. 2 graduate students under him had died by suicide, but his influence completely buried both cases. Another doctoral student abandoned academia to run a food stall, while many others were forced to give up their futures and enter other industries to escape the professor's control. The woman comforted her, explaining public anger was already growing, and the professor might deny one accusation, but could not silence endless revelations. She told the student to recover in the hospital, then promised to contact every victim personally, and finally remove the mountain crushing them. The woman began calling former victims, but several had lost all hope, insisting they had already fought and warning her to stop investigating. Later, the woman found the doctoral student who had dropped out of school and was now running a food stall, but he immediately refused to discuss the professor and would not step forward as a witness. Facing his refusal, the woman exposed that he still wanted justice, but repeated failures had left him completely consumed by fear. She presented evidence of academic fraud and student abuse along with her credentials, revealing she had spent decades preparing to destroy the professor's family. But he argued evidence meant nothing, explaining that every complaint he once submitted had somehow ended up directly in the professor's hands. After years of failed appeals, he concluded fairness was controlled by powerful people, abandoned his dreams, left school, and accepted defeat. The woman firmly rejected his despair, insisting reports could succeed and true fairness still existed, despite everything he had experienced. She explained that one person might be weak, but many victims standing together supported by countless strangers online, could no longer be silenced. He claimed he no longer cared and wanted nothing to do with law, insisting the legal world had become the thing he hated most. But the woman noticed a law book sitting at his stall, proving he had never truly abandoned his dream of becoming a lawyer and defending fairness. He finally confessed he wanted justice every day but felt powerless, then questioned why a successful lawyer with powerful connections needed someone like him. The woman explained that she wanted the professor's family to witness ordinary victims they once dismissed as ants unite and bring down seemingly untouchable elites. After hearing this, he finally chose to trust the woman and join the alliance of victims she had formed. The professor believed his past was buried, until a subordinate reported the lawyer was tracking down every student who had failed to graduate under him. His wife panicked, believing the woman intended to fight them until both sides were completely destroyed. But the arrogant professor insisted she could cause no real trouble, then vowed to eliminate the woman completely and remove the threat forever. Soon afterward, while returning home, the woman learned the persecuted students had sent records of their abuse, and believed their joint complaint and evidence would make formally accusing the professor far easier. Shortly after ending the call, a man attacked the woman, attempting to abduct her and silence her forever, before she could expose the professor. Believing the woman was about to die, the attacker told her she had offended the professor, and that he had been sent to silence her. As he tried to force her into the car, she slammed her high heel onto his foot, making him release her immediately in pain. When he chased after her, she pulled pepper spray from her bag and sprayed him repeatedly, leaving him unable to continue the pursuit. Next, property security guards heard the commotion and arrived in time, forcing the attacker to abandon his plan and flee. After escaping danger, she immediately contacted property management and demanded that every surveillance recording of the attack be preserved as evidence. Next, she called the police, requesting officers to accompany her while collecting evidence and provide protection, because her situation remained extremely dangerous. Just as she reached her door, a strange man appeared, making her fear the professor had sent another killer, until he explained he had only come to deliver evidence, and she cautiously relaxed. The man revealed that his sister had studied under the professor, but during her second year of graduate school, she jumped to her death. He explained that his sister entered that school's graduate program with the highest score and chose the professor as her advisor, but within months, her emotional state began deteriorating. He then handed over her diary, which was filled with accusations against the professor, and documented the suffering that preceded her death. For years, his family had filed complaints and lawsuits without results, until seeing the woman's live stream announcing a public investigation into the professor made him believe truth could still matter. Overcome with grief, he knelt and begged the woman to obtain justice for his sister, while she firmly promised she would never abandon the case. After learning the woman had just been attacked, the man said one of his clients owned a bodyguard company and offered to arrange professional protection. She thanked him and accepted. Soon afterward, the man arrived with 4 bodyguards. After learning police had opened a case, he assigned them to protect her while she gathered evidence. The man also contacted other victims and presented the evidence they provided. Trusting the woman, they all joined the rapidly growing collective complaint. Once every witness statement was prepared, the woman began organizing the joint complaint, and believed the case was finally taking shape. Just then, someone contacted the woman through the news, claiming he had evidence of the professor's wife laundering money, and would send it to report her. Watching the evidence from more reports steadily accumulate, the woman concluded the professor's family's comfortable days were finally coming to an end. Meanwhile, the professor erupted after learning the attacker had failed, and the woman now traveled everywhere surrounded by bodyguards. His wife proposed destroying the woman's reputation and forcing her out of the legal profession before trying to attack her again. The professor approved the plan, contacting her former colleague and the bar association to hold a hearing, revoke her license, and strip away her professional influence. Soon afterward, the woman received an urgent document requiring her to attend a bar association hearing on time several days later. She immediately realized the professor could neither kill her nor control online opinion, so he had chosen to attack her career instead. At the hearing, the professor's wife portrayed them as elderly victims of malicious defamation, claiming relentless online abuse had seriously damaged their health. The professor claimed lifelong respect for law, then accused the woman of knowingly fabricating facts and maliciously defaming his family, saying she had deliberately broken the law. Pretending to protect the legal profession, the professor demanded that the bar association revoke the woman's license, claiming this would prevent her from misleading and harming people. Just then, the woman arrived and publicly mocked the professor's moral preaching, declaring that he was the one who wasted public resources, violated the law, and distorted the truth. The woman arrived with truth, telling reporters saying she had learned from last time, and would never again let the professor control media coverage to suppress his scandals. Seeing her former colleague arrive as well, the woman calmly announced everyone was present, and invited the professor and his supporters to begin their carefully prepared performance. The Bar Association accused her of malicious defamation, but she denied wrongdoing, insisting every statement and action she made was supported by solid evidence. She presented notarized records showing that many graduate and doctoral students under the professor had suffered depression, illness, withdrawal, and even been driven towards suicide. When the professor called everything a misunderstanding, the woman exposed how promising students had dropped out under his pressure, and challenged him to deny the overwhelming evidence. But the professor accused her of lying and shamelessly blamed the victims, claiming modern students were fragile, rebellious, and unable to endure normal academic pressure. The woman told everyone to turn to page 9, revealing the professor recruited top students from across the country, all ranked among their state's top 3, making his accusations completely unreasonable. She told everyone that the students' psychological problems were not personal weakness, but the direct result of the professor's relentless pressure and abuse. The professor still refused to accept responsibility, placing all the blame on the students and claiming their psychological weakness had caused every problem. Meanwhile, the professor's supporters defended him, claiming strong grades did not guarantee research ability. Graduate study was naturally stressful, and his strict demands were understandable. The woman told them that if they refused to believe the physical evidence, the witnesses could speak for themselves, then called all the victims inside. Seeing them, the professor immediately approached with false concern, claiming he had worried about them for a long time after they withdrew from school. Next, the professor quietly demanded why they had returned after already accepting money to keep the matter buried. The woman walked over and warned him not to threaten the victims, revealing each of them wore a microphone connected directly to the reporter's livestream equipment. The first victim accused the professor of stealing students' achievements, manipulating them psychologically, offering no guidance and forcing them to complete projects for him and his granddaughter. He revealed he filed complaints using his real name, but the professor used connections to obtain them, threaten him, and force him to drop out. Another victim said she spent over a year conducting experiments, writing reports, and producing every core result, only for the professor to hand everything to his granddaughter. The grieving brother testified that his sister endured years of exploitation, stolen research, and humiliation, until she was cornered into taking her own life. Another victim revealed the professor had long humiliated and controlled them, destroyed their confidence, stolen their research, and threatened to prevent them from graduating. Another victim revealed the professor threatened to use his powerful connections to completely blacklist anyone who dared report him, destroying their future in the field. The professor's wife immediately accused the woman and the victims of colluding, claiming the entire investigation was nothing more than deliberate revenge against the professor. But the woman reminded her that the professor was never the only person she intended to hold accountable. The woman played a video showing the professor's wife bribing her for her granddaughter's internship, then insulting her refusal and claiming successful women slept their way upward. Everyone present condemned the professor's wife for insulting women, especially after realizing she had long cultivated a false image of supporting and respecting them. The woman then revealed reports accusing his wife of trafficking artworks and laundering money through galleries, while police had formally opened investigations into evidence against both spouses. Trying to repair his image, the professor invoked his impoverished mountain upbringing, claiming he could never exploit students struggling so hard to pursue their education. But the woman challenged his heroic story, asking whether he and his wife had truly escaped poverty through their own effort, or stolen someone else's life. Next, she accused the professor of abandoning his wife and daughter, then climbing to his current position by stepping over the devoted wife who once trusted him. The professor insisted he and his wife had supported each other for 50 years, claiming he had never abandoned any wife or daughter. The woman then asked whether his wife was the woman beside him now or the one he had abandoned in the mountains. Next, the woman produced an old photograph and directly asked the professor whether he still remembered the young woman in the picture. The professor immediately lied, claiming the woman was merely a village girl who once liked him, whom he rejected, and that his current wife took the photograph. The woman produced letters he had written years earlier, promising to return, marry her, and give her and their child a home, each bearing his signature. She explained that her grandmother had preserved the letters, revealing that her grandmother, not the woman beside him, was the professor's true wife. Next, she revealed the professor's current wife was the former village chief's daughter, who stole her grandmother's identity, and had lived under her grandmother's name ever since. The professor's wife denied being the former village chief's daughter, but the woman had already obtained conclusive evidence proving her true identity. The woman produced a photograph taken years earlier when the professor's wife paid respects to her deceased father, the former village chief. Next, she revealed that although the village chief erased most of his daughter's documents, county archives still preserved evidence proving her true identity. The woman revealed her grandmother waited until death, while the professor escaped with the shameless woman using stolen identities to become a law professor and painter. Because her husband abandoned them, the woman's grandmother raised their child alone and endured a lifetime of cruel gossip and condemnation. When they insisted everything was false, the woman proposed comparing her mother's DNA with the professor's to prove the truth. Just then, the woman's mother arrived, ready to confront the professor who had abandoned her family decades earlier. She presented her 1976 birth certificate from the year he left, revealing his final letter promised to return for his wife and infant daughter before disappearing forever. Seeing how closely the woman's mother resembled the professor, everyone condemned him for abandoning his wife and child while preaching fairness and morality. Panicking, the professor immediately ordered his supporters to make every reporter shut down the live stream. But the woman reminded him that her own reporters were still present, and this time nobody could cut off the live stream for him. The woman's mother showed the professor her mother's belongings, demanding he face the woman who waited a lifetime, and questioning his claims of fairness. The professor completely lost his composure, and could only mutter weakly that everything was slander. Just then, the disciplinary committee called, announcing an investigation into the professor's identity fraud, academic misconduct, abuse of power, and retaliation against students, requiring him to appear within 24 hours. Cornered, the professor blamed his current wife, claiming she made her village chief father pressure him and leave him no choice. His wife angrily revealed that he had approached her first and declared his rural wife was unworthy of him. While they fought and blamed each other, a police investigation team arrived and ordered the professor and his wife to come with them for questioning. Facing arrest, both spouses betrayed each other and claimed victimhood, while their carefully built image of 50 years of devotion collapsed completely before the livestream. Before police took him away, the professor apologized to his daughter and granddaughter, invoked their shared blood, and begged them not to let him go to prison. He even invoked the love his late wife had for him, claiming that if they forgave him, he would return and live peacefully with them. But the woman said the apology belonged to her grandmother, whose stolen identity prevented burial in her ancestral grave after death. Next, the professor finally gave his true wife the apology delayed for 50 years, and after he finished, the police took him away. But her grandmother could no longer hear the apology. Fortunately, the professor's debt to 3 generations of women had finally been fully reckoned. Next, the woman and the victims celebrated their hard-earned victory after finally exposing the professor's crimes. She told them they could now pursue research peacefully, without anyone using them as stepping stones, because their achievements would belong only to them. The man who lost his sister thanked the woman, saying the professor's crimes were exposed, and his sister could finally rest. The man forced to drop out of school also thanked her, saying he would keep his stall and use his legal knowledge to help others. Inspired by her courage, the students declared they wanted to become people like her, calling the woman their example and guiding figure. Later, at her grandmother's grave, the woman shared their victory, celebrating her freedom from the mountains and the punishment of the man who abandoned his family. Next, she placed news of the professor's punishment before her grandmother's grave, letting her hear he had been permanently dismissed and stripped of every honor. She told her grandmother the professor and the woman who stole her identity had lost everything and been imprisoned, where they would spend the rest of their lives. She told her mother that the professor's granddaughter had entered another country illegally, but without legal status, and with no home left in her own country, she could only wander abroad forever. Later, the woman founded her own law firm, explaining it existed to uphold fairness, defend justice, and help lawyers practice with a clear conscience. Those she had helped said simple gratitude could never repay her, so they joined her firm to help more people and continue the justice she began. She also thanked them for their support, reminding them that when others someday depended on their decisions and help, they must remember where they came from. Then, realizing countless victims remained trapped in their own struggles, she prepared to lead her law firm into its next battle. The story ends here. Thank you for watching.